You know, you're asking a really big salary for someone with no experience. Well, this job is going to be super hard since I don't know what I'm doing. What's up everybody? Welcome back to the Day Knitter channel. I'm super excited about today's video for two reasons. Number one, the product I'm getting ready to feature, and two, I am in my brand new shop. If you want to see the amazing adventure, the nearly 2-year adventure of getting this shop built, check out this playlist right up here. I'm so excited to finally be in my shop, so be sure and check out those videos. So the very first project that I'm working on in my brand new shop is with my 1997 Chevrolet Camaro RS, Project ZRS. I'm going to be V8 swapping this car sooner or later. So in today's video, I'm going to be swapping out my old spoiler for a brand new one thanks to ReveMoto. ReveMoto is a paint-on-demand auto body part shop based in Houston, Texas. Since 2012, they've been supplying quality painted auto body parts for DIYers like me, all the way up to the industry giants in the automotive world. They supply bumpers, fenders, mirrors, tailgates, hoods, and more. For me, this 2002 Camaro SS spoiler fits the bill. When ordering my part, I made sure I supplied my Camaro's paint code so ReveMoto could color match the new spoiler to my car. The ordering process was simple, and the communication I received throughout the production of my spoiler was top-notch. I got emails keeping me in the loop of every step of the production and shipping process. ReveMoto guarantees their paint to match my car, and they back their painted parts with a lifetime warranty, so they'll replace it if it ever peels or fades. Each part is hand sprayed, then buffed and polished by their quality control team before it gets shipped out the door. If you're looking to replace a damaged part or upgrade the look of your project car like I'm doing, refresh your ride with ReveMoto. Give them a look at ReveMoto.com. Alright, so I'm going to be replacing this old spoiler with a new one from ReveMoto. You're probably wondering why in the world this thing isn't V8 swapped yet. I got a lot going on in life. I've got my wife dealing with some health problems. I've been dealing with this building for 2 years, way too much stuff on my plate. So now that this building's done, hopefully I can get to working on my project cars with a little more fervor. This spoiler actually showed up like the day before the contractor came to build the building. So I've had to put this thing off to the side, trying to protect it, keep it out of harm's way until today. Here it is. It came in a freight box. A box truck delivered it. The process of delivery and everything was very smooth, like I said, and I couldn't be happier with the communication I received during the whole process. So the spoiler is the 98 to 2002 SS spoiler. You see that it is paint match. So you can see this is faded paint. My clear coat's coming off my spoiler. The paint job is a perfect match. All I did was give them the paint code, and they were able to paint this up to match. I'll have to wash it, a little bit of grease on here, but the paint job is very well done. It did not come with a third light, so I went on to Amazon or eBay, one of the two, I can't remember, and found a replacement third brake light lens. I'll have to get wired up. It's an LED lens. So the one downside with my car is this body package, the appearance package. It's got the ground effects and this low molded spoiler that's attached directly to the deck lid spoiler of the car. I was really hoping that this section of the spoiler was just like 3M tape or some kind of glue that would just pop off, but there's actually a couple of bolts that go through the fender that you have to unbolt. So there are holes that will need to be patched in this fender. I don't like that, but what are you gonna do? That's just the nature of the RS package. So we got ourselves a really fine paint job on the spoiler. I can't be happier with that. So we're gonna pop this open and figure out how to remove the factory deck lid spoiler. So this plastic trim that's on the inside of the hatch is in 2 pieces. So we'll just pry this off. I'm sure it's just in here with some snap clips. So these cars are all getting older and parts are harder to come by. So I'm gonna try my best not break anything. All right, you can see how many of those snap clips there were. So that's the wiring for the third brake light. We'll have to take care of that. Looks like it just runs up through there. Got a bolt right there, one right there, and the same on that side. One there and one there. That should be the 4 nuts and bolts that hold that spoiler on. So I'm going with my Dynamic Tools socket set for this job today. If you want some high quality tools with a lifetime warranty, check out shopdynamictools.com. Use code DANATOR15 at checkout. Save 15%. Shopdynamictools.com. So these are 10mm nuts. Set those nuts to the side. We don't want to lose those. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect this brake light pigtail. All right, let's see how easy this comes off. Pretty easy. Nice. So this thing looks pretty silly without the spoiler on it. And you can see just how dirty this thing is. How hard it is to clean underneath that old spoiler. So I'm gonna wash this up real quick, get it looking right, and then we'll throw the spoiler on. Okay, so I'm gonna use some super clean. There was what looked to be tree sap of some kind. It was very sticky, and so I used some of that to degrease that and get that off of there. So that's all cleaned up. Let's test fit the new spoiler. All right, we got 6 bolts to take out of here. All right, let's see how this thing lines up. With these 2 center posts, I'm gonna have to drill a hole in my deck lid. I'm not thrilled about that, but I mean, it is what it is. So this is not an OEM spoiler. This is a replica, and you can see right here, it looks like it's a little bit warped. Shouldn't be too big of a deal. We can get it screwed down and it should sit in place. I'm not real thrilled how it lines up here because it's not sitting flush with the deck lid. Such is life with aftermarket replica parts. I'm gonna put a couple of bolts in it, see how it looks. So I mean, I really do love the looks of the SS spoiler, and it's going to look really good when it's all fully installed. But that's the nature of aftermarket fitment. Of course, that's not tightened all the way down yet. Passenger side fits a lot nicer. Here's what I'm talking about with this. It's gonna have to really come down. And it doesn't really quite fit the contour of the deck lid. So I wanted to check to see if this third brake light worked. So I went ahead and just jammed the wires into the connector. We'll hit the brake and see what happens. All right, it works. Okay, I think what I'm gonna do is set the spoiler and screw it down on the 4 outside bolts. to basically where I want it to sit. And I'm gonna have to figure out where I'm gonna drill the holes in the center of this thing. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. So these are the screws that came with the spoiler. They're kind of short. I think they're too short. So I found another screw in my toolbox that's a little bit longer. It's got the same screw pattern, but it is slightly longer. I think that's gonna be the difference for this front screw. So there's the hole. The screw head is not that big. I need a washer. So putting a washer on this thing makes this way too short. So top side, that's all the more the screw comes out. And that's just the screw. If I put a washer on it, it drops it even further. So there isn't much screw left for the spoiler. But even with a couple of washers, the screw is still longer. Now I'm worried about the screw going completely through the spoiler and out the other side, and you'll be able to see it top side. So that's why I've got a couple of washers to kind of give me some space. So anyway, that's my thought process with the screws. We'll see if it works. Probably saw in the time lapse I was able to fish the wire through for the third brake light. So that's nice. I'm gonna have to go ahead and fish that wire through so I'm not pinching it. I found an old cable and I used that to fish it through. And these holes don't seem to line up real great either. So this hole's not lining up very well. It's down and to the left. So I took the front screw out. I'm gonna try putting in the rear screw. It's like these two holes, the hole in the spoiler is just to the left. It's like this whole spoiler needs to shift this way for that to line up right. But I'm pretty sure I've got this lined up right where I want it. It can't go that way anymore as far as this one goes. I wonder if this thing is warped upward here. It's keeping it from sitting flush and flat over there. Okay. All right, well, I guess that's bolted where it would sit. Of course, it's not tightened all the way down yet. And we're almost there. Boy, that's a good looking spoiler. So I think this is a little short on this end because the center section is not tightened down all the way. Maybe if it's tight, it would kind of push this end out a little bit more, maybe. I don't know. Need to figure out how I'm gonna mark these holes for this. Boy, that's a good looking spoiler. I want to be able to water seal this because I have a feeling that it'll leak into my hatch if I don't. The factory spoiler has these little rubber washers, these little gaskets. So I'd like to be able to reuse those, or at the very least, put some sort of a silicone caulking or something around the hole to keep water from getting in, especially around the big hole in the spoiler that this wire goes through, because I don't think there's any water sealing happening around that big hole. So I have to figure that out. It's looking pretty decent. I just hope that it can stay affixed and be watertight. That'd be great. Perfect color match. I mean, they nailed it. Paint code is correct. All right, so I've unscrewed the spoiler. I'm gonna try to figure out how I'm gonna line up the spoiler and mark the holes for the center posts. How am I gonna do that? It's a really good question. Okay, so I'm gonna try not to wing this, pardon the pun, but I put a screw, a small screw down in the hole, put tape over it on each side, so there's a little bit of a nub sticking up. I'm gonna coat that with some white paint, set the spoiler down in the car, push it against the car, transfer the white paint to the blue tape, and that'll be where my hole goes. Okay, well that worked. There are my holes. Sweet. Whew. Time to drill. Well, this is extremely nerve-wracking. I can't believe I'm about to do this, but I'm about to drill 2 holes in my perfectly fine deck lid. I must be crazy. Oh my goodness. Oh, I can't believe I just did that. All right, time to go through. I see daylight. Ooh. Boy, that really pained me to do that. So I'm taking a bigger drill bit, and on this bottom side, I'm gonna warble out this hole so that the screw head can go through that hole, because there's a cavity in here, and that screw head's gonna have to basically be mounted to the underside of the skin out here. I can't screw it through the cavity because the cavity will just collapse. So I'm gonna have to warble this hole out larger and get my screw inside that cavity, if that makes sense. All right, so that warbles out the hole. So now I can get my screw in there. Screw head fits down in this cavity now. It's up in there, you can see it. So now I get the full screw coming out. I'm gonna go ahead and peel this tape off. I think I'm at the point where I'm about ready to affix this permanently. How am I gonna keep water out? I think I have an idea. Wherever there's a bolt hole, I'm gonna use this stuff, Lexel. I used it on the hood, where the hood scoops are. I believe I've remedied my water leak there. The stuff is very elastic. It's like basically a gasket. You just make a gasket. So I think what I'll do is wherever the spoiler meets these holes, I'll put a bead of this stuff around each hole. That way, when the spoiler sits down, it'll meet that bead and hopefully seal this thing. That's the plan. Okay, so I think I'm ready to set the spoiler down. I'm going to run some of this stuff on the spoiler as well, so this is going to be a little bit tricky. The Lexel that I've put down is tacky right now and spongy, so that's good. I guess there's nothing left to do but do it. I think I'll clean off the areas with the wax remover where I'm going to be putting the silicone. Okay, so I've got it all tightened down. It looked to me like all of the silicone connected well with the spoiler. I took those rubber gaskets that came off of the original spoiler and put them around each bolt on the side of the spoiler, and you can tell that the gasket has squished nicely around the bolt. So I might end up having to do a little bit of silicone around the washer, because like this one feels like it's not up against the spoiler because the holes don't line up perfect. So anyway, I may be chasing water, but yeah, this is all tightened down. I've got to attach that light yet. Let's hit the brake. Let's see how that looks. Nice. Okay, for my next trick, there are 3 holes in here for screws to screw in this brake light. I don't have any screws, and the spoiler did not come with any. So I think what I'm going to do is put some of that Lexel right here over this hole to keep water out. But then I'm going to use this 3M trim and molding tape. It says super strength molding tape. I'll run a piece of tape over the top of this and I'll just stick it in place. It fits really good, nice and snug in there. It almost stays just by setting it there. So I think that 3M tape across the top of that would be the best bet. Okay, so I cleaned both the light and the spoiler with the wax and grease remover. Now you're supposed to get this red part off. Okay. Almost forgot the Lexel silicone. We're finally getting some much needed rain. Make sure that sticks good. Hope that holds. I'd hate for water to get behind there and freeze and whatnot and just pop that right off. That'd stink. All right, let's see how it looks. Nice. Yeah, that turned out quite nicely. And yes, it is a little weird having horns on the end with that RS spoiler. Looks really weird from this angle. Yeah, it's got horns. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of the new spoiler for my 1997 Camaro. Should I leave the end pieces of the old RS spoiler on there, or should I remove them? Personally, I think they need to go. Bodywork. Fun. Anyways, if you're needing a replacement bumper, hood, fender, or something else, give ReveMoto a look at ReveMoto.com. Thanks for watching. God bless. Be sure to hit the like switch on your way out. We'll see you next time.